Blunt Talk with LT, episode 103. This episode's brought to you by StackWap.com, StackWap.com/shop for your SGE merch. Shout out to my new subscribers. Shout out to my day one subscribers. Shout out to all the individuals who share the clips on their Facebook, their Twitter, their IG, or whatever. It's helping the show grow rapidly. Respects to everybody that's doing that. Shout out to y'all. Make sure if you're not subscribed to subscribe to the channel, like, comment, all that shit for the algorithm. All right, so we're going to jump right into it. First topic of the day, Nicki Minaj announces that she's pregnant. So Nicki Minaj announced that she's pregnant. She posted various clips, or not clips, pictures of her pregnancy stomach, and a lot of her fans are rejoicing and they're very happy for Nicki. They're congratulating her. A lot of the barbs are getting like really emotional and crying and shit. And like, you know, people are just happy for Nicki because Nicki's like, what, 35? I don't even remember how old Nicki is. But, you know, it's good that she has her first child, or she's announced that her first child is on the way. So everybody's pretty much supporting that except Meek Mill. And Meek Mill left a comment on somebody's page that was kind of hating on the barbs for basically celebrating Nicki Minaj's pregnancy, and basically the guy was saying how, you know, he ain't gonna celebrate yours, they don't know you, just some hating ass shit pretty much going against the barbs. And Meek Mill left a comment laughing, and then the Shade Room was quick to grab it, and Meek Mill ended up getting dragged all over the timeline. Twitter women are going in on him saying, Meek Mill, here we go again, jumping into women business and women conversations. And then people are just looking at Meek Mill like Meek Mill's salty because that is his ex-girl and she's having a child with somebody else. So Meek Mill is taking the L on the timeline for that. But Meek Mill is always a little weird with the social media and the way how women always constantly drag him because they feel like he's always inserting himself in places where he shouldn't when it comes to women business. But that's what it is on Twitter. Like, women run Twitter. You can't say shit to these women on Twitter, or you can't even leave. Like, at the end of the day, he should have probably not have left that message hating on her shit. Just allow the girl. You know, she's showing her pregnancy. She has these nice pregnancy pictures. It looks like a healthy pregnancy. She looks good in these pictures. She kind of went back to the old Nicki style with the colored wigs and the just her whole look. It's just kind of like that original Nicki style when she first came out, first started popping, first got a buzz. She kind of went back to that style and that look. So shout out to Nicki. I kind of been annoyed with Nicki since the 6ix9ine thing. But other than that, I was always a staunch Nicki Minaj supporter. I had her on the GOAT list for the greatest female rapper of all time. I got a lot of backlash for that, a lot of support from the barbs. But after that whole 6ix9ine shit, I was kind of off Nicki for a bit, and that kind of really upset my soul, the fact that she worked with 6ix9ine and continued to help his buzz in hip-hop, because I'm like a pretty known 6ix9ine hater. I don't fucks with 6ix9ine at all. I don't fucks with snitches, and I don't fucks with complete frauds in hip-hop. So that's why I don't fucks with 6ix9ine. So that's what kind of made me kind of step back on the Nicki Minaj support. But at the end of the day, I still support Nicki. I didn't like the feature with 6ix9ine, but it is what it is. Moving on. Meg Thee Stallion addressed the shooting and pretty much doesn't like the memes and is kind of upset with it, saying that, you know, it's her actual life. This is her real life. People are playing online with it. It's serious. It was a serious issue for her. Fail. It's traumatizing, it's traumatic, all that shit. And I'm looking at it like, okay, like, I get your pain, Meg, but at the end of the day, this is social media. People come to social media and Twitter and all these platforms for the fuck shit and the jokes. Of course, they're going to be posting memes, and 50's going to get involved and post some shit, because that's what 50 does. 50 gets in his immature troll bag and he starts, you know, going off on shit. But it's social media. You can't be a public figure, a celebrity of any type of sort, and think that social media is all going to be my condolences and all that nice, sweet shit whenever something happens to you. Of course, there's going to be those people that are there to support and stand up for you. But for the most part, you expect them to be making jokes. You expect people to, you know, get in their meme bag and start posting the funniest possible memes, because that's what they do on social media. So I don't even blame people for doing that, although it could be rough for you, Meg. But at the end of the day, this is what you are as a public figure. You put yourself out there, you leave yourself out to whatever people want to say, because that's what people do, especially on social media. Recently, one of her beat makers, producers, threatened Tory Lanez, and now everyone's looking at it like, okay, maybe these accusations of Tory Lanez actually shooting her is true. Meg hasn't said anything about that. She's yet to speak on that. And she hasn't communicated with the authorities on what actually happened in the incident. So we don't really know what's going on. It's not really looking good for Tory, to keep it a bean. But I hope Tory didn't do that shit. That's the weakest shit in the world. I feel like I have to crop this nigga out of my playlist and shit if he's actually shooting women after taking L's like that. And I don't even know why he had the strap on him to, like, I don't know what happened in that situation. Hopefully some more details will come out and people will know exactly what happened. But I just hope that it wasn't what is kind of being the lead story right now with Tory Lanez shooting her, because that's weak as fuck. We don't need those type of L's, because Tory Lanez is, you know, he's not even from Toronto. I can't even say that, but he reps it like he is, so it is what it is. What else do we got here? Okay, so Kanye West. Kanye West went on stage at his rallies, one of his campaign rallies for his presidential campaign, and he went on stage and said some crazy wild shit about Harriet Tubman. Let me play the video and then react, so I can actually react correctly to what he's saying here.
So that's a Stephen move. When Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. She just had the slaves go work for other white people.
Y'all, we leaving right now.
So
if you don't get that bullshit out of my face.
A woman say, oh, we leaving right now. What? I'm going to need some full context to that to see where he was going with that point, because that on a surface level sounds crazy as fuck. It's like he's diminishing the historical legacy of Harriet Tubman by saying she never freed the slaves, or she never assisted in the freedom of slaves, and she sent them to work for more white people. I need to hear the rest of that comment. See, that's a small clip, and that's what's running wild, but that rally was over an hour and a half, and we have these small clips, so I need to know where the fuck he was going with that, because Kanye will say some shit, and he'll be the worst person at articulating the point and explaining the point. So he'll say some bullshit, and it might sound like some bullshit on the surface level, but when you dig deeper into it, he has a deeper meaning of where he's coming from. But at the end of the day, this is your presidential campaign. You got to be responsible with the way you say things at the end of the day, because you're trying to garner support, and that shit is wild. Anyone hears that shit, they're going to be like, yo, what the hell is this motherfucker on? This is the second time he said some shit. He said slavery was a choice, and now he said Harriet Tubman never freed the slaves. So it's like he's really shitting on the ancestors right now, and a lot of people are looking at him sideways for that, including me, because I don't have more context to that. I'm probably not going to watch his whole hour-long presidential rally. Like, let's be real. He's not even registered to be on the ballot in South Carolina, and he was in South Carolina having that rally. So I'm like, what is going on here? Like, what is this shit? Like, whoever's in his corner, his family needs to reel him in, because this nigga's off his rocker. We also have another clip of him breaking down at that very same presidential rally when he's speaking about abortion of some sort. So let me just play that clip too to get some more context behind what the hell this nigga's on.
my mom saved my life. My dad wanted to abort me. My mom saved my life. There would have been no Kanye West, because my dad was too busy.
We love you, Kanye.
This is embarrassing at this point. He's having these mental breakdowns. He doesn't seem stable. I know he's talking about he almost aborted his daughter and whatnot, getting emotional over that. But it's like, what the fuck? This nigga's clearly unstable. Who the hell would vote for him? This is your first presidential campaign and you're getting super emotional, having mental breakdowns on stage. Like, what's wrong with his people? What is wrong with his family? What are the Kardashians on? What are they trying to promote behind all this? Because this is some filthy behavior out here. Like, what are you really doing? What is this shit? Like, I don't even understand why you be on stage doing this, like having these, like, he's having like a bipolar episode or something. And people need to be more concerned for his health instead of letting him go up in there and make an ass of himself, because that shit is crazy. That shit is absolutely ridiculous. Someone needs to reel him in. Okay, so August Alsina dropped a new song with Rick Ross titled Entanglements. And this is more August milking the whole situation with him, Will, and Jada. Let me get comfortable here. He's like, I get it. It's a good thing to do. It's like, it's a trending word. Everybody's still talking about what him and Will and Jada was, the whole, whatever the fuck their entanglement was, relationship, whatever you want to call it. So it's more capitalizing off of the situation. And as an artist and as a entertainer, you're going to use the things that are the most captive to promote and push your shit. So he actually dropped the song. People are saying that he dissed Will on the song because he's talking about breaking her back and doing all sorts of, he's talking some sexual shit in the song about he does what the other man can't and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people are saying these are direct shots at Will. Well, she used the word entanglement. He made the song called Entanglement, and then you listen to the song, it's kind of like, okay, it kind of does seem like some shots, but it is what it is. August Alsina also doubled down on his take, saying that Will actually did give him permission. He did give him the blessing. Although Jada made the point that, you know, he can't give you permission. The only person that can is her, because it's her body and whatnot. But he said that these conversations actually happened and they actually took place. So there was Will being cool with it, is what he's pretty much saying. And he's doubling down on those comments. He's not straying away from those. So it is what it is. He wants to tell his truth. He wants to use it for whatever purpose he wants to use their entanglement for. I just feel like at this point it's kind of corny to do certain things. He's talking about it's for his mental well-being and it's his truth, and if it bottles up, he needs to release it. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. At the end of the day, that's corny. To be running around and kissing and telling all the situations, especially when that's their family business and they do some weird swinger shit on the side in the background, and they probably didn't want that to be put out there. But hey, this is what Jada does. Jada does the red table talk and makes everybody get honest and open with their life, so she's kind of having a taste of her own medicine. I just don't like the way Will's being represented here. They made Will look like a cuck and continue to do. They're making Will look so bad right now, but apparently they also said this was like Jada's get back at Will for all the shit he's been doing, because he was taking him down, I guess. He was, getting all he can get on the side too. So it is what it is. That's their marriage. That's their way of working it out. I don't know. I'm not going to comment furthermore. That's their marriage. That's their problems. What else do we got here? Okay, so we got Dwight Howard pretty much doing a spot-on impersonation of Shannon Sharp, impersonating him in front of AD and LeBron. Let's play this clip right here.
See, now listen now, Skip, I told you now, AD and LeBron just came in here now, Skip. So listen now, Skip, when you... You thought I was talking to Skip?
Yeah, I did all look.
Listen, Skip, the Lakers now, listen now. The Lakers, I got the Lakers in 7.
My bad, bro.
That's a decent impersonation for somebody that's, a ball player. He's not a comedian or anything, so he doesn't. It's not like it's Godfrey doing it. Godfrey can do all those impersonations spot on. He does a great Shannon Sharp, but that's a good ass impersonation. Even Shannon Sharp was laughing on Twitter when he seen that. It's good for me as a Lakers fan. It's good to see that type of chemistry built with Dwight Howard, AD, and LeBron. They're continuing to grow that off court and on court chemistry. So it is what it is. That's a kind of like a random clip for me to throw in the podcast, but I seen that shit and I was like, okay, let me heap some praise on that, because it's Team Lakers all the way, and it is what it is. What else do we got here? Okay, so Nick Cannon. After Nick Cannon was fired from Viacom and NBC, or no, not Viacom and NBC, Viacom and CBS, they recently pushed back his morning show that was scheduled to start in this September all the way back to 2021 September. So he has a lot of jobs and a lot of things falling through the cracks ever since he had that conversation with Professor Griff on his podcast, speaking about, he had this anti-Semitic comments the comments that were deemed to be anti-Semitic. Some people don't agree with it, but at the end of the day, it's up to the Jewish community to determine what offends them and which puts them in position to feel offended. But I look at that and I'm like, yo, he's losing all his job opportunities for saying that they have the power in the media and they have, I can't even remember exactly what he said or what the comments were, but it was along the lines of that. Charlemagne recently had a statement that was going all through the internet. I don't like the fact that I did not see or hear the statement come out of his own mouth. Pause. But this is what he actually had to say about the situation. He said, listen, Nick is my guy. I hate that it had to be him, but that's what you can do when you have the power. Keyword, when you have the power. And if there's one thing Jewish people have showed us is that they have the power. He said during Wednesday's broadcast on the radio show The Breakfast Club, I cannot wait until the black people are able to fire people for saying things about us that we deem racist. We can barely get cops fired for actually killing us. So when I look at that statement, hold on. Ooh, fucking struggling out this bitch. I look at that statement and I'm like, that's pretty much along the lines of what Nick Cannon said to be anti-Semitic, talking about the power that they have and the power structure that they have in the media. Of course, when he said this, my interpretation was he wasn't talking about all Jewish people. He was talking about he was talking about people that are in the power to influence and make moves in the positions that, you know, can fire him or do whatever, were Jewish people. Because there is a lot of successful Jewish people. I'm not saying all Jewish people are this and that, or they're at that are at the stage of having power and influence. But clearly, they were in the position to fire his ass expeditiously. And Charlemagne pointed out that they're in position of power to actually do that. And black people need to be in position of power to actually get some sort of justice for what we find racist. So I don't even understand how calling or pointing out what is actually factual is anti-Semitic. So I hope Charlemagne doesn't get dragged for these comments, because for me, that's kind of ridiculous. At the end of the day, when the NFL shit was going on, the Black Lives Matter, Colin Kaepernick kneeling, the public constantly showing all the injustices of happening to black people, George Floyd, all the protests happening, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, a bunch of these people were on TV, Dominique Foxworth, on TV talking to the NFL owners that they need to speak up. Stephen A. in general, or in specific, was speaking about Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, speaking up for the cause, and none of these owners spoke up at all. None of these owners spoke up for anything regarding the Black Lives Matter movement and the people being killed unjustly. And as soon as Deshaun Jackson said something about Jewish people, and he quoted some Hitler shit, I don't even know why he quoted Hitler, but he said some bullshit. And as soon as he said that, you had NFL owners on his ass. You had the NFL owner, Jewish guy from the Philadelphia Eagles, that owner, he said he made statements condemning everything that Deshaun Jackson said. And it's like they were so quick to make statements when it came to their own community, but when it came to the Black Lives Matter, they're quiet 24/7. They haven't said anything to this day. This has been going on for 4 years. Regarding the NFL and concerning the NFL, it's been 4 years since Colin Kaepernick took the knee. So it's been 4 years since the players and the media has been trying to get some sort of statement from the NFL owners, and they haven't said a fucking peep when it came to the Black Lives Matter and all the shit that's happening with black people. The second Deshaun Jackson makes a statement, you hear from them. So it's kind of wild when you see stuff like that. It's like, yeah, they have the power of influence and they're not using it to aid our community and our struggles. So I just look at that and I'm like, that is some bullshit. That is whack as fuck. Should use your influence in another way to look out for all injustices, not just injustices for your people. Then maybe people would care about the injustices that happen to your people because they see that you care about other communities as well. But it is what it is. Nobody owns this show, so I'm not getting canceled for these wild statements if they're deemed anything other than what they're. I'm just trying to be honest with shit. I'm trying to push it into a fucking logical, sane perspective of what's actually going on here. I ain't trying to come for no communities. I'm not trying to be anti-Semitic, but it is what it is. We see what's going on here. What else do we got here? I have some more Black Lives Matter shit. I have all sorts of videos to respond to. I have there's always an abundance of these every day of what I can show and pretty much highlight the type of racism that's going on in these streets. But I think I'm gonna focus on this one. This one doesn't even involve black people. This is a white person targeting an Asian person randomly. So let's watch this and then react to this, because this doesn't make any type of sense to why somebody would do some foolishness like this. But here it is.
Whoa, what the fuck, dude?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Let's watch that again. To pull it back in slow motion.
Whoa, what the Whoa, what the
That's gross, filthy, racist, all that shit. He spat at her for no reason, called her a stupid chink. Like, what the fuck was that? It's a random act of racism. Like, I feel like the COVID and the whole quarantine has made a lot of people racist. I don't know what's going on, but people been in their house too long and they're relearning all the racist habits they were taught in the house, because they say racism is taught in the house. And all of a sudden, this shit is just permeating through the streets. It's like, what did that girl do to deserve getting spat at randomly by this random ongoer and called her a racial slur? Like, that makes no sense. Like, that shit's ridiculous. Okay, and we have one more clip before I get out of here. Another racist act, another racial slur being tossed out with flagrant disregard. Let's watch this video right here, real quick video.
You said, what if you said what?
If I say nigga,
Oh, okay. Look, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? She just said nigga. She just said nigga. She just said nigga.
Okay, so this is two white women calling a man a nigger right in front of the cops with their chests out. They said it with their chests. Proudly called him a nigger, like they knew nothing was gonna happen. And they weren't apprehended. That wasn't a hate crime. Nothing happened to them. They went home and enjoyed the rest of their night. It's like, what kind of shit is that? That's wild. These people are fucked up. That type of racist, people are just so emboldened to do some racist acts for no reason. But they're all here caught on tape. People are constantly whipping out their phone. I'm not going to show any police brutality on this episode, maybe next episode, because I still have a lot of clips to show and a lot of justice needs to be served for these people. But that's our time for this episode. We're going to catch it on the next one. Blunt Talk with LT. We right back at it. Yeah.